where am I now? Wow. The journey that I started with Truce with Food has taken me on such a beautiful healing journey, a beautiful journey of self-acceptance, a beautiful journey of authenticity, and a beautiful journey of self-love where my worth or my value didn't come from the number on the scale, or the foods that I chose to eat, or the foods that I didn't choose to eat. And so from there, it just really opened up and gave me this opportunity to be able to look inside myself and look inside and look behind those behaviors to find the star that was always within me, that was like bursting to come forth, but did not feel safe to do so. So I feel like Truce with Food has been really an instrument for me to be able to create that internal sense of safety within myself. So I'm not diving head first into a bag of Doritos or popcorn or ice cream. I think surprised me was the fact that like I was using food to to hide and to mask and to cover up. Also like as a means to also cover up and suppress the people pleasing as well. And so I'm like, whoa, like this is really deep. And now as I think about it, I think about how a lot of that, and I think we talked about this, about how a lot of it was ancestral, and familial as well, because my mother also had, her struggles with food. My granny had her struggles with food. And so it's kind of like all of that fell back on me. And it was like easy for me to kind of reach for that. And I use that as a huge coping mechanism throughout the entirety of my life, the bulk of my life. I use that as a coping mechanism because I didn't have the tools or the skills to be able to be present and attentive with myself. I think that's where Truce with Food came in, because it helped me to gain those skills and tools that I would need to support myself. I remember this exercise that we did, that we're talking about the protector parts,
Mhm.
and I was just like, okay, like okay, I've heard it before, but I never really dug into it and worked with it. And so for me, learning about my different protector parts and how they show up around food, for me, is something that has stuck with me that I use today, because I've also learned how to use curiosity instead of judgment, because I would just hammer down on myself. And so, like, really working with you really helped me to have compassion instead of harshness or hatred. And so that helped to really diffuse that protective part, because usually, it's just like when somebody is like, I'm ready to fight. And so it's like, okay, Grace, like this is all you. This is all your stuff, because there is also, I guess, this tendency to want to divorce these things from us, like,
Mhm.
oh, that's over there, like my anger, that's something over there, my anxiety, oh, that's over there. No, so I had to wrap all of those things around and bring them back to me, and really like pull a spotlight on them and say, where'd you come from? Ah, okay, you came from, when you grew up feeling unsafe and unheard. So it makes sense that you will retreat and go into your room and eat bags of candy, because at the end of the day you wanted sweetness. You wanted love, and you wasn't getting that. So in your mind, you've seen it demonstrated by your mother that food is love, food is comfort. So you go and you reach for the sweets, you reach for the candy, because that's how you get that internal sense of love. But working with you with Truce with Food, I learned that whenever I'm feeling, I guess, triggered, or when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling overwhelmed, instead of me reaching, reaching for the chips or reaching for the ice cream, it's like, okay, pause and let's see what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, that's still something that I use to this day. And I'm able to recognize it now. Whereas before, it would make me mad, like, but it's like now it's like, okay, all right, I see you. And not only do I see you, I feel you in my body. I feel the anxiety rising up and sitting on my chest. And it's like, okay, girlfriend, what is it? What is it? And that voice will say, well, that scared me. Like that person's tone of voice, it scared me. And because it scared me, my tendency is to want to dive head first into some ice cream, to give myself comfort. So I sit with myself, it's like, okay, and I normalize, like, it's okay. It's okay for you to feel scared. So it's just talking to that inner child. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay. You are safe now, and we will get through this. And next thing I know, like I'm in the mirror, twirling, and I put on some music and I'm dancing, or so it's like I'm back. I didn't even need the ice cream. Like, I got this. It really helped to build, like I said, my emotional safety, emotional comfort, emotional presence, and attentiveness with myself. So it's just been great. Now in my relationships with myself, in my relationship with food and others, what comes up is worthiness and authenticity. Like, I am worthy of the love that I want. I am the biggest source of love in my life. Affirming that to myself helps me show up authentically in relationships, because it's like I'm not here to try to get something from you. Like, I'm here to see you as you are, and I'm here for you to hopefully see me as I am. And I feel like the love and the joy and the connection outflows from there. When I'm being my authentic self, when I am authentically being open and honest about my feelings instead of eating them or hiding them, I can say, you know what? In this moment, I didn't feel supported by you because of ABCD. Whereas before, I would be terrified, to tell someone that you hurt me, or I felt unsupported, or because I was so afraid of being rejected, and I was so afraid of being abandoned. But now I know that I will never reject or abandon myself again, because I have experienced the consequences of that. So now I feel confident, I feel safe enough to say, like, you know what? I can be authentic in my relationships with myself and with others, because I trust that I have my own back, because I trust that I will not forsake or abandon myself for love. I will not forsake or abandon myself for acceptance. I will not forsake or abandon myself for approval. And for me, it's been a game changer. It's been revolutionary. What I've gained has been far valuable, because it's like I've gained myself back. I've gained my source of truth and confidence, and power back in this journey, and learning, like, to accept and appreciate the beauty of my individuality and my uniqueness. Because when you grow up in a family of black folk, in the hood, it's kind of like there's safety in us all thinking alike, there's safety in us looking alike, there's safety in us acting alike, and there's safety in us feeling alike. For me, it's been the story of my life, just trying to break away from those confines that says, in order for me to belong, I have to conform. And I'm like, no, I can still be me and love you too. Like I can still be me and belong in community. I am happy with me for once in my life. I can honestly say that I am truly and authentically happy to be me and to love myself. Like it took so long. It took so long. And now I'm just so grateful for us working together because like I said, I feel like that was the catalyst. And I've just been building on that because that experience taught me that I can do hard things. Like I can do the hard emotional work, the emotional labor and be present with myself. And it helps me, and it also helped me to become a better counselor. It helps me to become a better friend, a better partner, and a better human. It's just been a great journey. Being empowered and making decisions from a place of empowerment as opposed to trauma and victimization. Because I think there's a huge connection between food and trauma that I feel like a lot of people don't explore, in terms of how a lot of our food choices, for trauma survivors is rooted in those past feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. And so it can be an act of rebellion, to say like, you know what? Like I know that dairy was there for me when I was in the trenches, but it really didn't do anything for me energetically and emotionally and physically. It really was like it's like a glue that kind of kept me stuck. And so once I kind of realized that, like, okay, like we're not trying to be stuck, we're trying to ascend, we're trying to elevate, we're trying to grow, we're trying to evolve. And anything that's trying to keep you stuck and keep you stagnant, sadly it has to go. And ever since then, like I said, it's been great. And I'm surprised now. It's just like I just be surprised at myself, like at the foods that I eat now. If you give me some tuna and some green beans and rice, I will be like, hey, like, who would ever thought? That's like a comfort food for me now. And it's just like, wow, like I look for when it's that time of the month, instead of me looking for ice cream and cookies, I'm looking for where's the watermelon? Where's the pineapple? Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not saying, look, I am not saying that ice cream is bad or chips are bad or whatever, because there are the moments when, I'm out with a friend or whatever, and she's just like, yeah, I bought this pizza. I'm like, okay, girl, let me get a slice or two of that pizza, but that has to be it. So it's just like, it's not like dairy and corn and these things are not a daily or weekly staple. Like when I go grocery shopping, it's like I already know, like I need to have things that, are dairy free, corn free, so that I can be able to digest it properly. And it makes it easy now because I've trained myself. It's probably been recently, probably like in the past 6 months, actually, that I've been on this journey of releasing those things and being okay. Now, like I said, it's a source of empowerment because it's like, oh wow, like I can get through my time of the month without ice cream. Like I'm a badass bitch because I never would have thought that I would be able to get through it without it. Like I never thought that I would be able to get through life without alcohol. So it's just like all of these things that I need, that I thought and I felt like I needed to survive. As I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm healing and evolving. It's like I don't really need those no more. And I'm okay with that. I would just encourage people to just surrender and trust the process. Again, I know it's easier said than done, but it has been a saving grace for me to just be able to trust, your guidance, Laura. Trust your wisdom and knowledge and insight. It has really been healing, and I think that whoever chooses to do this work is doing soul work, is doing heart work, is doing healing work, because it's like, as we say, it's about the food, but then at the same time, it's not about the food. Just being able to be present and ride the waves of that dynamic. Like, okay, it is the food on one hand, but then on the other hand, it's not the food. So for me, it was well worth the investment. It was well worth the tears cried. It was well worth the assignments, showing up for myself, even though I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to come to this session and tell Laura that I didn't went clean in. At the same time, it's like you made all of that easy because of your presence, because of just your energy. Like, I never felt judged. I never felt shamed. I never felt critiqued. I always felt loved, cared for, comforted, encouraged. And so that just gave me the courage to be able to fly, and to believe that I can do this. And I think that's the power of a coach, of a great coach. And I think it's a testament, to your calling and your gift and your strengths and your talents as a health coach. I 100,000,000,000,000% endorse Truce with Food with Laura, because it has really changed my life. So thank you, Laura.